We are looking at Deuteronomy 23. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. In other words, if he's castrated, okay, a bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation shall not enter in the congregation of the Lord. An Amorite or a Moabite shall not enter the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when ye come forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against the Balaam, the son of Beer, or of Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Yeah, we done read that. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing into thee, because the Lord thy God loveth thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity in all thy days forever. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt, because he is thy brother. Oh my goodness, I messed up. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in the 3rd generation. When the host goeth forth against thine enemy, then keep thee from the wicked things. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chanteth him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be, when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun goes down, he shall come into the camp again. Thou shalt have a place also without the camp, whither thou shalt go forth abroad. And thou shalt have a paddle upon thy weapon, and it shall be, when thou ease thyself abroad, that thou diggest wherewith, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee. In other words, this is the way you go to the bathroom. I'll read that one again. And it is Deuteronomy 23:13. Thou shalt have a paddle, a shovel, upon thy weapon. And it shall be, when thou wilt ease thyself to go poo-poo, thou shalt dig therein, and shalt turn back and cover that which cometh from thee. Cover up your poo. Okay, for the Lord thy God walketh in the midst of thy camp, to deliver thee, and to give thee up thine enemies before thee. Therefore shall thy camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in thee, and turn away from thee. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in the place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best, and thou shalt not oppress him. My head hurts. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the son of Israel. Thou shalt not bring the hair of a whore or a price of a dog into the house of the Lord thy God for any vow. for even both those are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Upon a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend unto usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hands to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. When thou shalt vow a vow unto the Lord thy God, thou shalt not slack to pay it, for the Lord thy God will surely require it of thee, and it would be a sin in thee. But if thou shalt forbear to vow, and it shall be no sin in thee, that which is gone out of thy lips, thou shalt keep and perform, even a free will offering, according as thou hast vowed unto the Lord thy God, which thou hast promised with thy mouth. When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes thy full at thine own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in any vessel. When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbors, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle into thy neighbor's standing corn. Okay, so in other words, they're saying, go get the corn if you want it. Because if God, it's like you live in one big old happy community, is the way I see it. All right, we are on chapter 24. When a man hath taketh a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it into her hands, and send her out of his house. Now this, it did not say go get a lawyer. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say you have to have paperwork from the government. It said for him to write out a bill of divorcement and hand it to her, and she's supposed to leave. Number 2. And when she departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. Plain and simple. Okay? And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hands, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband dies, which took her to be his wife, her former husband which sent her away may not take her again to be his wife after that she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. All right. So okay, let's take, okay. I marry Rick. Rick gives me a bill of divorcement. I go marry a Joe Blow. He dies. I cannot go back and marry him. Cannot go back and marry Rick. All right, number 5. When a man had taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, but he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he has taken. So in other words, they get to spend a year together. Well, that would be good. We don't get that no more. Number 6. No man shall take the neither or the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren or of the children of Israel, and make merchandise of him, or sell him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you. Take heed in the pledge of leprosy, that thou observe diligently and do according to all that the priest, the Levite, shall teach you, as a command them, so ye shall observe to do. Remember that the Lord thy God did to Miriam by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. When thou doest lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man whom thou doest lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. If any man, in any case, thou deliver him the pledge again, then the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee, and it shall be righteous unto thee before the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy. In other words, don't keep on adding on to him like the government does now. Oh, good Lord, they take advantage of the poor. Okay, you need $27 an hour to make a living, but we're only going to give you $7 an hour. All right, whether you go with thy brethren, or with a stranger that is in thy land within thy gates, at this day thou shalt give him hire. In other words, you're supposed to pay him every day at the end of the day. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. The father shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the father. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. So, in other words, the Catholic Church teaches that you can pay, restitution or something so that they can make it into heaven. Well, after they're dead, they're going to go see Jesus, and that's it. That judgment right there. So, if oh gosh, how can I say this? Don't want to hurt anybody's feeling, but you cannot pay for somebody else's sin, plain and simple. And this is what this is talking about. Death is his own sin. Okay? That's all I can say. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of a stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. In other words, you don't want to take anything from the stranger or the fatherless or the widows and try to resell it or anything. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy God remembered thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the strangers, for the fatherless, and for the widows. And the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand. In other words, it's good to leave something there for the poor. All right, when thou biddest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the bogs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grape of the vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterwards. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widows. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt before I command thee to do this thing. All right, we are on 25. And let's see how long it is. It ain't that long either. Let's go ahead and read it. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judge may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judge shall cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face according to his faults by a certain member. 40 stripes he may give him, but not exceeding, lest if he would exceed and beat him above those many stripes, then thy brother shall seem vile unto thee. So in other words, hit him 40 times. Okay, thou shalt not muzzle the ox which treadeth out the corn. In other words, if that ox is going to dig your corn rows for you, and that ox gets loose after the corn is grown up, let him eat it. He worked for it. All right, 5. If brethren dwell together, and one of them die, and have no children, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her, and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she bringeth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go to the gate and to the elders, and say, my husband's brother refused to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of a husband's brother. Now, this right here, I don't see how God could do this. Not because of the name, okay? To me, this is confusing, because he says that you're not supposed to look upon your brother's wife, and now all of a sudden, if he's dead, it's okay for you to go in there. See, this right here, it don't make no sense. All right, number 8. Then the elders of the city shall call him, and speak unto him, and if he stand to it, and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house. Say that now. This is ridiculously stupid. This doesn't make no sense at all. Why would God do this? Don't know. I think we got a little bit of Satan walking around in this right here, because this doesn't seem no morals whatsoever. Number 10. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that has his shoe loosened. Oh, wow. Let's just, degrade him with a loose shoe, okay? All right, when men strive together, one with another, and the wife of one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand, and take him by the secrets. In other words, she grabs his balls. Then thou shalt cut off her hand. Thine eyes shall not pity her. She shouldn't never got into it. Let the men take care of themselves. Thou shalt not have any thy bag drivers weight, a great and a small. Thou shalt not have in thine house drivers' measures, a great and a small. But thou shalt have a perfect and a just weight, a perfect and a just measure thou shalt have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. In other words, don't have one set of weights for one person and a different weight for another. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously, are an abomination unto the Lord. There's a lot of that going on. Remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore it shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thy enemies around about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the rememberer of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. All right, we're down to 26, and we will work on 26 tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening, and I love you guys.